Hello and welcome back to this channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to do some absolutely simple, beginner-friendly illustration and give it a very nice canvas texture using Adobe Fresco. So let's just get started. So before we begin, I just want to say that if you want to support this channel, you can always buy me a coffee on ko-fi.com. Click on Create New and I'm going to select Current Screen Size under Digital. I have a sketch, a color palette and a texture for you guys. So go ahead and download it from the link in the description box below. Now we're going to go ahead and bring all three of this into our artboard. I'm going to go into my images for my sketch and color palette. So I'm going to go into the sketch layer, click on levels and make sure you turn this into multiply. I'm going to quickly hide it so that I just have the color palette. Now I'm going to go into my recents and make sure that I have the colors chosen right here. The colors which come out here seem to be a little muted, so I'm going to go ahead and hand pick all these colors. You can do that by making sure you're in one of the pixel brushes. I'm going to select and choose that color and just draw it. It shows up under recents. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we have everything selected. I'm going to hide it. I'm going to hide the color palette as well. And I can bring back the sketch. Now I'm going to bring the texture in, which is in my files. You're going to adjust the sides to make sure it covers everything. Done. Again, go to your levels and make sure this is turned to multiply. The texture has to be on top of all the layers. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and lock layer so that I don't delete it as such. I'm going to go into the sketch layer and I see it's too dark, so I'm going to decrease it. Now let's start illustrating. The main brushes that I'm going to be using for this illustration are just two. One is the hard pastel, which is under pixel brushes, and you go into dry media and you have the hard pastel, and the next one I'm going to be using is rough pencil. So let's choose hard pastel right now, and I'm going to go into my background color, that is this color, that is 5, 63 and 91, and I'm going to increase it a little bit, make it about 93 to make it a little brighter, increase the size to as big as you want, maybe even more. That's better. And now I'll go ahead and draw the bottom part. Make sure you stay within these lines over here. Okay, so this is below the sketch layer. So you click and hold and drop it down. And now I'm going to go ahead and color this whole layer. And I'm not using a lot of pressure, trying to retain the texture of the brush. I'll just quickly do one thing. Go here and turn the artboard preview on so the excess gets cut off. The next thing I want to do is the road. So click plus and click on clipping mask here so that it clips to this particular thing. Go ahead and choose the road color, which I'm going to use a really dark one right here, and reduce this to make sure you have the size of the road. And then we're going to go ahead and go and make this here. It's okay to stop in between and then you can just pick it up. Your road is ready, and now you need to add some white lines to it. I'm going to use a different layer. The only reason I'm trying to do this is because I might change my mind about the road and want to edit it. Go to your brushes, and now we're going to go into dry media and rough pencil, and we're going to choose some white. You can also choose white from here, and now we're going to add tiny lines right in the middle of the road like this. I'll bring back the sketch. Now let's make the mountains. Better to go behind this level, so I'm going to go behind and obviously click on plus to create a new layer. We're going to choose the yellow. I think it's this one, and make sure you go ahead and make it a bit more brighter, maybe 100, so it looks good. And let's go back to hard pastel and make sure to adjust this as much as you want, and we're going to draw our mountain here. Alright, now we'll go behind one layer plus, and this time we're going to choose a light orange, maybe this one, and let's draw the next one. And again, one below, and the final one, that's the red. Time for some trees. So we're going to go ahead first and try with the gray that we have, and I think I'll choose the darker gray here, and let's make some blobs. Make sure you draw some rounds and blobs and things like that. See, I'm just randomly drawing them. I want a cluster here as well. Make sure you add a nice trunk to them, to go back and click on plus so that it's below the thing, and we will select that black or dark color. We'll go back to our rough pencil. Now at this point, if you go back into recents, you should be able to, you can see your pencils here, brushes there. So I'm gonna add a bit of thingy like this. I'm going to go on top of this gray tree layer, click on plus, and I'm going to go ahead and choose the lighter gray that I have and go back to hard pastel and make more trees. Just going to find some space like that and add in a bunch. To also add in random bits and places here. And now let's go ahead and choose yellow that we have already used up in this previous, or any yellow, that doesn't matter. Click on new layer. I'm going to add some yellow bits to this to make it look much better. Maybe add in places that you haven't added the other colors. Make the ones on top here a little tinier than the ones you have already drawn. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the orange and add some, no, I want this red basically. Let's see, oh, this doesn't look good at all because I want this one to be a little darker. So maybe I think I want that to be brown. So I'm going to go ahead and use this brown. Use the fill tool and fill it and make it brown. Yeah, that's better. But wait a minute, let's make it a little bit brighter. Yeah, that looks much better now. And now the red should look much better. So we're going to go ahead and go to the top layer, go to a brush and select that red which we had. And we're going to draw more trees. Let's give some yellow trees some company. Obviously adds up some pop of color. Now I want to add some shadows to all of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the same brown that we have, the one which we gave for the background. I'll go all the way up here and actually go above the road and click on plus. I'll go into mode here and click on multiply and probably reduce this a little bit. And now I'm going to go ahead and add shadows to each and every one of this. Yeah, it's going to take some time. So you want to add the shadows such that it's in this direction. So you just add a bit of shadow like this. You should add it to the base like that. I'm not drawing the trunks for these things, so that's okay. And you want them all to be in a similar angle. So if you choose like this, everything has to be like this. You can't put one in the other direction as such. I'm going to uncheck the sketch because it's not useful anymore. Okay, there you go. I'll go back to the layer where I was doing all the shadows. You want shadows for every tiny little thing that you can think of. Once you have it, you can adjust your multiply mode here to make it as light as possible because you obviously don't want really dark shadows. Feel like I've missed here, so there you go. And now your shadows are ready as well. So let's go ahead and concentrate on this part here, the horizon. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw more trees up here, but first we have to fix this thing right here, right? I'm going to go into the eraser tool here and I'm going to gently go ahead and make sure I am erasing certain parts. And obviously if you get some white spaces, you need to go into that particular mountain or whatever and go ahead and fix it up immediately with your brush tool like that. I'm going to add some here as well because I definitely don't want white space. Now it's time to add the trees over there. So I'll go into the horizon here. It should be in between the horizon and the yellow mountain here. So I'll just make a new layer over there and you can choose different colors. Like instead of yellow, don't choose the yellow because we already have it for this mountain, so it'll not be seen. I'm going to go ahead and draw some trees and I want them to be as close to this one as possible, and I definitely want to decrease the size to about 50. You can either do like this or click and hold and then you can select the number. And okay, I'm going to go ahead and make some trees like that with the gray color, and I'll choose some red and you can use a different layer and make it as well like that. And obviously I want the yellow, but obviously I can't choose the yellow, so I'll choose the orange and I'll make some, but let me just make it a little darker by moving this slider up to 83, and we're going to add some brownish looking trees over here. And I'm going to reduce this further because it's getting a little hard to control it. And that should be fine. You don't want too many trees over there. Now let's go ahead and make the sky, and for this I'm going to go all the way back, like below towards the end, and create a new layer and go into your colors and make sure you select the gray, which is 52, 3 and 85. If you don't see these exact numbers, by the way, you can press this HSP sliders, click, and then you will get this and you can type it exactly as you want. Now I'll go into my fill tool and fill it in with a vector layer. Click on plus, and now we're going to draw some clouds. I'm going to go ahead and choose the next one. It's 45, 2 and 90, and go to your hard pastel brush and make sure it's around 50s, I guess. And let's go ahead and draw some clouds in here. So I'm going to draw white clouds on top of this, so you don't have to draw a lot of them. I hope you can see them, that I'm drawing them right here. I'm going to hide some behind the mountain like that. It's just oval shapes, and I'm going to put them here and there. You can always come back and add more or fewer of this once you've put in your white clouds. So don't worry too much about adding them right now. So let's go ahead and do that. I think I'm going to stop. I'll click on a new layer and go and select white, and I'm going to add my main clouds now. You want one below the mountain. I want a really huge one here like that. And obviously this has a baby cloud right here. One poking here. And then you can go back and give in more gray if you want to. I'm going to add a bit more white here. And I think I'm going to choose a gray one, go back to that layer and add a bit more because I feel like it's a bit bare in certain places. I want this to be very cloudy and dreamy like that. Okay, so that's done as well, and basically after this you can go back to your texture layer, and you know you have locked it, so you can't edit anything. So go back here and click on unlock layer, and now you can reduce the opacity of this layer to a bit below than whatever you want, like this. Click back on this. So basically your artwork is ready to be exported. You can click on share, publish and export as, and I would select a JPG with high, and then you can export it onto your device or anywhere that you want. And there you go. We have a super simple dreamy landscape illustration ready. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee on ko-fi.com. If you want to watch more Fresco videos, go ahead and check out my other channels and subscribe to this channel for more content. I'll see you in the next video then. Bye bye.